Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my August, September, October, and November wrap-up. This will be the final part. If you missed part 1, you should absolutely go watch that. I'll put a link to it in the description below. It's got a lot of really great stuff in it, as does this one. I'll be talking about 16 or so books in this video. 4 of those books were the entire Mysterious Benedict Society series. If you haven't heard of the series, and I haven't seen many people talk about it, you should really look it up. It's fantastic. It's a middle grade series about a group of kids who sign up to take a bunch of long, convoluted, mysterious, difficult tests that, if they pass, will allow them into a secret mission that only they can complete. It involves a man named Mr. Benedict who can help them to reach their highest potentials. And it's just, these books are just so much fun, and I really like them a lot. They're a mixture of mystery and adventure, and I think a lot of people on BookTube would like them if they gave them a shot. The 4th book is slightly different than the others, as it follows Mr. Benedict when he was young, so it is a prequel to the others. They're all just really great, really well written, with fantastic and really likable characters. I very highly recommend them to you all. Another mystery series that I completed, though this one is quite a bit different and obviously adult, is the Kenzie and Gennaro series by Dennis Lehane. I've already talked about the first 2 books, A Drink Before the War and Darkness Take My Hand, in one of the parts to my April, May, June, and July wrap-up. The next 3 books are called Sacred, Gone Baby Gone, Prayers for Rain, and Moonlight Mile. I think Sacred is my favorite of these, but I really enjoyed all of them. All of them just really build off one another, really add to the character development of the series characters as a whole. The 2 main characters, Patrick Kenzie and Angie Gennaro, are phenomenal and 2 of my favorite characters, especially within a mystery series. Their lives are just super interesting to follow, and seeing these stories unfold through their friendship and their partnership in solving murder cases is just so great and a lot of fun. Moonlight Mile, the 6th one, the last one, is a little bit different than the others. It was written years later than the others and actually takes place years after the end of Prayers of Rain. It has connections to Gone Baby Gone too, which is the first time Dennis Lehane did anything like that with the series, kind of re-exploring a previous book years after the events of that first book take place. I very highly recommend the series to everyone. They're a great mystery crime series, and I think anyone that likes J.K. Rowling's Cormoran Strike books will love these 2. I wish there were going to be more, and the audiobooks were fantastic. I listened to them all, and I'm really glad I did. One of these days I'm going to watch the movie adaptation for Gone Baby Gone. I'm very interested in seeing if it's any good. Let's keep it going with another crime, detective, mystery kind of thing, The Cut by George Pelecanos. I read this after finishing the Dennis Lehane series because I really wanted something along the same lines. I was craving more of that series, but there was no more. This author was suggested to me, though, by a fellow booktuber, P.T. Hilton. And this book was okay. I saw a lot of potential there in this writing and in the story, but overall it felt a little empty. It just didn't seem to have the same substance I was looking for. It's about a guy named Spiro Lucas, a veteran of the Iraq War, who goes out and recovers things that have been stolen. No questions asked, as long as those that hire him agree to pay him 40% and not a penny less. Spiro gets a big job, and that's what this book is about. It kind of leads him into a world he doesn't necessarily want to be a part of, the dilemma of whether or not the money is worth it. And like I said, this was just okay. There was some character development in the main character, but not anything special. This took place in DC, which was fun since I've been there a lot, but I didn't really feel the atmosphere of where it takes place as much as I hoped to. I did enjoy listening to it as well enough, and I'll give George Pelecanos another shot sometime soon, but this book I gave 3 stars. Again, after reading the Dennis Lehane series and reading The Cut, I looked on Goodreads for books that might be similar to these, because I was still super in the mood for them. So I ended up finding a book called The Hunter by Richard Stark. Not exactly similar, but pretty dang intriguing nonetheless. This is a series that follows a man named Parker, a moralist, sadistic, conniving, borderline villain noir anti-hero. Someone's betrayed Parker and left him for dead, which, as you can guess, was a terrible idea. Parker is on the hunt for those that did this to him, and they believe that he's dead, and using that, Parker works under the radar to find them and give them what they're due. This is definitely more of a revenge crime novel kind of thing than the mystery crime novel I was looking for, but it was still fairly enjoyable in a very dark way. I gave it 3 stars. Not the best, but now that I know what to expect, I think I'll continue on with the series at some point and see where it goes. So this next book, I had no idea it was coming out, and so when I saw it on the Audible homepage, I was so excited and happy and got it immediately. It's the 3rd Cormoran Strike book, Career of Evil. I really loved the first 2, and this one's no different, almost entirely because of the 2 main characters, Cormoran and Robin. I love the 2 of them, and I love the writing in these books. It's phenomenal. This one wasn't quite as good as the first two for me. The one before this, The Silkworm, was absolutely my favorite, but it really advanced its characters in the overarching story that's happening right alongside with each of these murder investigations. Cormoran and Robin growing as characters, their partnership, and just everything that goes along with that. This one begins with a severed human leg delivered to Cormoran's office and addressed to Robin. Cormoran gets wrapped up in its investigation, believing the culprit to be one of 3 people who have something against him, and it sort of follows them as they try and figure out who it is. This one just didn't feel quite as intricate as the other two. The mystery aspect wasn't quite as strong, but yeah, I still really liked it a lot, and I'm so glad it came out and that I was able to read it almost immediately. Sometime in between all of these mysteries, I read the last book in the Parasol Protectorate series, Timeless. This one may be one of my favorites in the series. I really loved it a lot. I found the humor to be especially good in this one. The idea is especially interesting, and the plot to overall just be really intriguing and mysterious and fun. Can't really say much about it without spoiling the first 4 books, but needless to say, if you hadn't gotten to the series or haven't gotten to this point in the series yet, you really should. I can't wait to move on to Gail Carriger's other series. So this next one I got from Overdrive. I actually had to put it on hold a pretty long time ago, but there were like a million people in line to get it, so it took forever to get. Once I got it, I wasn't exactly dying to listen to it though, because of how many negative things I'd heard about it. I listened to it anyway, and it was a pretty fast listen. I can't really add much positivity to the ever-growing negative reviews. And this is Armada by Ernest Cline. I wasn't totally in love with Ready Player One like everyone else seemed to be. In fact, I think both of his books share a lot of the same faults, but I did really enjoy that book a lot regardless. This one just suffers from so much poor characterization, complete lack of original ideas, and writing that's just so saturated with references and one-liners that is just kind of annoying. I'm sure you've heard a bit about this already from other booktubers, so I won't say too much more. Maybe give it a shot if you really love sci-fi video games and movies. It's fun enough, I guess, but don't expect too much out of it. Really, the best thing about it is Will Wheaton's narration in the audiobook. I thought his performance was way better than the actual book itself. In part 1, I talked about the second Enchanted Forest Chronicles book, Searching for Dragons, which I read with Giselle, and in November we finished listening to the 3rd book, Calling on Dragons, which was just as good. Like the first 2, this one follows a different character and is super clever and fun and adventurous. The focus character of this is a witch named Morwen and her 9 cats and a rabbit named Killer. There's lots of weird stuff happening in the Enchanted Forest, and with other characters from the previous books, they set out to find out what's causing it. This book is freaking hilarious, and I loved it. Like I've said before, Giselle loved the series, and it's easy to see why. Definitely recommend to anyone who likes middle grade fantasy, especially very clever and witty middle grade fantasy. I think you'll really like it. The latest Mistborn book came out in November, a new addition to the Wax and Wayne series, Shadows of Self. Well, I think this might actually be my least favorite of them all so far. It's still awesome and a great addition to the series and to these characters that were introduced in the Alloy of Law. It's not necessarily adding anything really big to the series as a whole, but it's very fast-paced and has a few great twists and turns throughout. I feel like we got a much better look into Wayne in this book, which I really enjoyed a lot because he's one of my favorite characters. Honestly, we explore every character a little bit more in depth than we have until now, and it's just really great to see that. The main twist I thought was great, and I personally didn't see it coming, and I really appreciate what Brandon Sanderson is doing with the series as a whole. Really happy to see this sort of short, snappy little foray into the Mistborn world at this time period with these Wax and Wayne books. I think there's a whole lot more to come in the next book, Bands of Mourning, and I can't wait to see where it goes. They're a very worthy addition to the Mistborn world. The last thing that I read at the end of November, I actually borrowed a physical copy of from the library. Giselle and I were there getting some stuff that she really wanted, and I just happened to see this sitting on a shelf. I remember seeing it on BookTube, and obviously I knew who David Mitchell was, even though I hadn't actually read anything by him, and so I just picked it up. I didn't really know what it was about and went in pretty much blind, which I'm really happy about because I really liked it a lot. I love David Mitchell's writing, and I love the way he told the story. It follows over several decades various people's experiences surrounding a house called Slate House. This is genuinely creepy, has a fantastic atmosphere, many very distinct voices as we follow many different characters throughout time, and was such a joy to read. I had so much fun with this. I didn't realize that this book is a sort of expansion of his other book, The Bone Clocks, which is why I'm now reading The Bone Clocks, and I really like that so far too. Honestly, I think reading The Bone Clocks will retroactively make me like Slate House even better. I'm glad I read it in the order I did though, because I just went into Slate House knowing nothing, and I liked that experience a lot. Can't wait to see where the rest of Bone Clocks goes. So that's it for this wrap-up. That's everything I've read in the last few months. excluding December, of course, because I'm going to be filming that video right after this one. You'll see it soon. Also, Giselle and I just started a vlog channel. I mentioned this in my last video, part 1, and you can expect to hear me mention it again. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know it'll be a daily vlog kind of thing. We'll be filming every single day, no matter how little. The goal is to just film something every day. Each day may not go out the exact day it was filmed, but each day will be up eventually. We're very excited and passionate about it, and can't wait to get more and more used to doing it. And I hope you'll subscribe and follow our daily life together. The link to our channel will be down in the description. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Give me any thoughts you have on anything I've said or shown. I'd love to hear it. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with more.